What if I told you that Rumi's fate was revealed by a rebellious button, a mark that appears and disappears, and a t-shirt that invokes Gima before anyone knows her name? It sounds minor, but it is not. In Kpop Demon Hunters, mistakes not only break continuity, they break the mask. Today we are going to untangle errors that seem technical and yet confess truths of the universe. You will want to pause more than once because there are shots that were not studio blunders, they were visual confessions. Breathe. What comes next changes how you see Huntress, the Zaya boys, and Gima himself. And maybe, with a bit of luck, it also changes how you see yourself when it's time to choose which side you're on. We start with a scar that tells its own story. In the flashback, where Rumi is 6 or 7 years old, the demonic patterns on her arm are clear, as if her heritage had signed a contract on her skin. But in another scene, where she seems younger, there is no trace, no mark, no scar, no shadow. The strange thing is not that they are missing, but when they are missing. The film suggests that the marks expand as they grow. So, why are there clean shots after having seen them? You can read it as whimsical editing, yes, or you can understand it as a metaphor. The seal does not appear. She wakes up when Rumi dares to look at herself without filters. The demon didn't mark her, it chose her. The phantom metal follows. Jinu enters with the Zaya boys. Clean neck, no chain or pendant. Soda pop starts, and suddenly, a chain shines, as if it was always there. There is no intermediate shot, no costume transition. If the accessory appears without a cut, it's an error or a clue. Lost continuity or a status symbol that Jinu activates when he switches to idle mode. The metal as a character switch, unless the stylist has summoning powers, of course. Now look at the restless Pigment. So he oscillates between black and dark blue, depending on the focus, but other characters under the same light do not change at all. If it were lighting, everyone would vibrate the same. So his hair responds to emotional climate rather than light bulbs. When the tension rises, the tone shifts, as if the color betrays a divided loyalty. Black, when keeping the secret. Blue, when the inside has already decided. No one had connected this with the bathroom scene. Yet. Let's move on to the jewelry that trembles. Rumi starts with a hoop and winged ear cuff as a cat too. I broke into a million pieces and they disappear. When she asks for her sword, they return. In the group hug, they blink. At the fan sign, they jump from ear to ear. In Golden, the count changes in a frame. The jewelry functions as an emotional seismograph. The more fragile they feel, the less fixed their adornment is. It wasn't a contienda, naitat, tenalilay ko na continuity error, it was a visual confession. And between confession and gag, Bobby appears the most positive manager in the world. On the plane, the call has already been going for 3 seconds before Rumi picks up. In the mansion, his t-shirt displays the Huntress logo, and when he takes off the jacket, the design vanishes. Small details, yes, that happen in the foreground. Unintentionally, the movie portrays Bobby as what he is, the one who makes the story flow even if reality stutters. Now, listen to the music. A line from Soda Pop was supposed to sound Shahana. I'm still not satisfied. But what you hear is Shanuichana, shifting the meaning towards there is no sincerity. Suddenly the lyrics converse with demons pretending to be human, pronunciation error or poetic correction. Sometimes the vocal mix tells more of a story than an entire monologue. Let's return to the fabric that tells of blows. In the bathroom fight, when Rumi pins Jinu, the sleeve looks torn. Next shot, intact. Then it tears again. More than a glitch, it's an echo. The costume narrates that this clash is both external and internal. The fabric tears when Rumi doubts, it mends when she decides. And when it comes to deciding, look at the impossible leap. In the final show, Sohee and Mira move through the crowd. Open cut and they appear on the other side. New cut and they change places again. Teleportation? The editing calls them. They do not walk. They appear where they need to be when the stage requires them. The climax is not geographical, it is moral. You are either where you should be or you are not. Take a breath because now comes the forbidden knowledge. When Rumi performs Golden, the demons transform into Mira and Sohee and immediately launch into a takedown with rehearsal precision. But Huntress had never sung it. How do they know it? 3 fan hypotheses. They read minds, and the score is shared as a thought they sneaked into rehearsal and no one noticed, heightening the threat, or it's a mistake that, paradoxically, underscores the central theme. The copied identity sounds perfect. You think you've seen it all? A t-shirt ruins the surprise. In Gima's first appearance, with Huntrix fighting and the crowd in shock, someone is wearing a garment with Gima printed on it. How do they know the name if no one has said it? You can call it a blooper, or you can read it as an Easter egg. Gima doesn't present himself. He was always behind the curtain. The mistake wasn't the studios, it was fate's. Go back to the fitting room. Rumi sneaks in to check her marks. She lowers the zipper. The focus falls on neck and shoulder. The top button disappears. A few cuts later, the button returns. The camera insists on the zipper as if it wants you to look at the clothes instead of the fear. The wardrobe breathes with its shame. When it is exposed, it falls apart. When it decides to come out, it pulls itself together. Yes, it might be continuity, but it suits the scene so well. And please, don't make me talk about the plane that flies with magic. Damaged wings, destroyed engine, perforated fuselage, and the aircraft remains stable. Leida. Fantasy, yes. Physics, no. Here, the movie looks at you and says, relax, today the story flies. And that's where everything fits or starts to break. If you have already seen at least one of these details before anyone else, leave it in a comment and say which one blew your mind. I want to read your theory before Gima deletes it from the timeline. Now, turn up the volume because we're entering the theme of the climax. We're going to braid 3 threads. Rumi's marks, Zoe's pigment, and the impossible jumps. If the mark responds to decisions, not age, impacete o compás que its presence marks the moments when Rumi chooses who she is. When we see her clean, perhaps it is not the past or a mistake. Ida, alici, commits denial. If Zoe's hair turns blue when the tension rises, her inner self has already taken a side. The color betrays her before the words. If Zoe and Mira do not walk but appear in the right place, the editing reveals that the ending requires being where the soul calls you. Connect the 3 lines. Rumi accepts herself and the seal responds. Zoe changes because her loyalty has already shifted. Zoe and Mira appear where the story needs them. And here, the believable twist. The supposed villain orchestrating the chaos, Gima, could be the catalyst that forces each one to choose themselves. It doesn't break them, it reveals them. The continuity broke right where the characters were completed. It wasn't a mistake, it wasn't chance, it was a message. If the costume team calculated all this, hire them as screenwriters. Look back with this key in hand and you will see the pattern. Jinu's chain, which appears when he steps on stage, Rumi's earrings, which vanish when she feels in pieces, the soda pop line, which shifts from thirst to sincerity, the sleeve that heals when Rumi stops asking for permission, Wima's t-shirt, which admits that the fear was already in the room. Everything speaks of the same core. Identity. The authentic is fixed, the fake flickers. The next time you watch the bathroom fight, don't measure breaks, measure decisions. And when takedown plays, ask yourself if the perfection of the copy isn't precisely the clue to its emptiness. Let's recap without repeating. Rumi's marks are barometers of identity. Jinu's chain is his stage switch. Zoe's hair is an internal state filtered by color. The earrings tremble when she trembles. Bobby pushes the plot, even if reality stumbles. Soda Pop reveals more than it states. The sleeve does not heal, it tells. Zoe and Mira appear where they should. Takedown is the mirror of the perfect copy. Wima's shirt admits that the monster was always there. The fitting room is courage in closing. The plane flies through narrative. In a world where fame teaches posing and fear teaches hiding, mistakes are the only ones that don't know how to act. That's why they tell the truth. Who are we when no one is watching, and who do we decide to be when all eyes are on us? Perfection lies. The crack confesses. So next time you enter Kpop Demon Hunters, don't just look for choreographies. Listen to the buttons, the chains, and the pigments. They sing before anyone else. If you made it this far, activate the bell and subscribe before Gima finds out you already saw the trick. And tell me which mistake revealed the truth that the script didn't say. Maybe your theory will appear in the next episode with Huntress in the spotlight. See you in the next chapter, if the stage lets us remember it.